So please give a very warm welcome to our next speaker, who is going to be Suzette, and I'm going to give a few details about her. That Suzette is our keynote speaker on the fourth session. She will talk about permission to thrive, finding your voice in tourism. She's a speaker, a founder of Insta Curaçao, IAM life coach, and One Caribbean business network. The topics will include in her presentation, thriving by embracing authenticity, building supportive networks, giving yourself permission to grow, discovering core values as power, and becoming a change maker in tourism. Please give a very warm welcome to our next speaker, Suzette. Thank you so much.
So much, everybody, and good afternoon. For me, it's still morning. I'm in the Caribbean here, and thank you for the opportunity. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you today and listening to the speakers. I mean, these are such important topics that we're talking about, and also talking about finding your voice in the tourism industry. I'm speaking to you from a background of a multi-passionate personality, a diverse career across industries, a self-awareness coach, and a South African now living in Curaçao in the Caribbean, serving the tourism industry and also a business network foundation. So I want to start with the question, what do you think does it truly mean to thrive? What does it mean to you? Because of course, you know, we are led by others' opinions and you know, what we are led to, this is what you should think and this is how you should believe. But I want to know what is true for you. And we're not talking about just succeeding on paper or looking good to the outside world, but we're talking about truly thriving authentically in a way that feels aligned with who you are at your core. So many years ago, I worked in real estate. I was not a top agent. In fact, I sold one property during my entire time there. But that one property was a small 2-bedroom home. There was no pool. There was no lavish garden. There was nothing extra. And this property I sold for 1.2 million rand on the very first viewing. And that was, I'm talking many years ago. At that point, that price was way above other similar properties in the areas, and especially during those years. My colleagues were shocked and they were just like, okay, what just happened? And you may ask, okay, so what made this property so special? Here's the difference. When I walked into that home, I fell in love with it. I believed in it. I could see myself living there. I could see myself raising kids there, and I could feel its potential. So when I presented that property to the potential buyers, it was easy to talk about the home with passion and with conviction, and that shone through authentically. I didn't have to sell the property. That experience taught me something really powerful. And this also speaks to one of the previous speakers. Authenticity sells. People don't just buy homes or tours or holidays or services. They buy into your belief, your conviction, and your authenticity. So fast forward to about 2 years ago, my online business was struggling. I didn't have the car, the home, or the financial success that you would expect from someone starting a business network community for entrepreneurs. But I took a breath and I made a post in a public forum saying, if I build a community for entrepreneurs, will you join? Some said yes, others stayed quiet, and my gut said, Suzette, just do it. And I did. I need to be honest with you. There were moments during these past years that I doubted, serious doubts. There were days when I was my own worst enemy, when I asked myself, how can I possibly lead a business community if I'm not yet a successful entrepreneur? Those doubts came from acquired beliefs, of course, classes of materialism that told me I wasn't enough because I didn't look the part. I didn't have the successful business in neon lights and the car and the home. And then I would ask myself, but what is truly required to build a community? The answer is, it's not wealth. It's not status. And it's not perfection. If I waited for things to align fully and my situation and how I look and present and whatever to be perfect, I would have waited many years. What was required at that point was courage, was heart, was consistency, curiosity, and authenticity. So 2 years later, we've grown significantly. We now host 2 monthly events consistently. We have sponsors. We have attracted investors who believe in our vision, and we are expanding to other islands in the Caribbean and beyond. Why? Because when you live in alignment with your core values, with your passions, with your skills, and with your strengths, magic happens. My story proves that. Instead of pushing and pulling, started people show up in your world. Things start flowing and things become easier. I want to be clear. I was not born this way. I was not born as a public speaker. I was not born as a networker. It's the last thing that many years ago, if anyone told me that I would sit here and talk about networking and community building and being prominent in tourism, I would laugh. I grew up in a small town in South Africa, the third daughter to a father feared by most. And as you can imagine, my voice was not strong nor confident. For much of my life, I lacked self-confidence and I made life choices that weren't aligned with who I truly was. With the detrimental effects, 2 divorces can prove that. And then one day I gave myself permission to let go of my past, of my circumstances, of my limiting beliefs, permission to step into who I truly was as a mentor, as a connector, and as someone who uses her voice authentically. What have I learned that I can share with you today as you embark on your future in an industry, in tourism? Not look like mine, and neither should it. The moment you give yourself the permission to flourish, though, you stop living up someone else's life and you start writing your own story. Tourism needs your unique perspective and creativity. The second lesson is discover your core. And I will speak to this over and over and over again because I experienced it. Is to live and lead authentically, you must know yourself inside and out, your core values, what gets you angry, what gets you happy, what gets you sad, your passions, your skills, and also your weaknesses. We all have them. Embrace them. The self-awareness is your compass to your future. Without it, you'll chase opportunities that will drain you, and with it, you'll find the path that energizes you. The third lesson is unleash your voice. Authentic confidence is not about fake it until you make it. It's about speaking from a place of truth. Employers, investors, and guests, they can all feel whether your voice is real or not. That authenticity builds trust way faster than any script. The fourth lesson is cultivate connections. Because become curious about every single person you meet, whether he is a manager, of, or an owner of a multi-billion-dollar hotel owner, or if he's a driver, bus driver, if he's a cleaner, be curious. It's something we learned from Mandela. My journey proves this. Opportunities flow from authentic connections, and networking is not about collecting business cards. It's about building real relationships based on honesty and shared values. Those connections will elevate your career. The last lesson is be a change maker. The tourism industry doesn't just need workers and people that follow suit. They need change makers, leaders who bring courage, authenticity, and vision. When you choose authenticity, you don't just change your own career. You inspire others and ripple impact across the industry. A powerful book that I read before starting my community was a book called Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. I highly recommend this book. It talks about how one small change, one word, one conversation can have a massive effect down the line if it's compounded. So I want to leave you, as my time, I think, is in fact up. What permission will you give yourself today? Permission to let go of the beliefs or circumstances holding you back. Permission to speak your truth. Permission to step into your authentic path. Thriving is not about being perfect. It's about being authentic. And when you align your body, your mind, and your soul, whether you're presenting a business idea, interviewing for a dream job, or selling cocktails on a cruise ship, you'll shine with a confidence that no one can fake. The world of tourism needs authentic leaders, and I really truly believe that there's a leader in each one of you. So thank you very much for this opportunity again.